Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it seems as though we've done all the hunting we need in regards to this new cult, this order of Persians and Spartans. That's okay. I cannot climb this. Nope. There we go. Good horse. That has claimed this territory of Macedonia as their own. Although there seems to be only one left, that being the Huntsman. Right now I'm heading off to find an informant who might have some information about that. But I guess I was assuming the informant would be would direct me to a specific order member, but all the order members are dead, so I would imagine, I guess, this will just lead me to a specific clue. Now, looking at the image of the order, though, in the menu, though, there is this real, so I'm assuming this would be the huntsman, because the Magi is a hunter of tainted ones, commands wild animals. And these are all things that we've learned about the huntsman himself. But like this icon above him makes me feel like there is going to be somebody above the huntsman, because I would find that the order is fairly small if it's just going to be these 7. Also, this is just episode 1 of 3. Like, this is Legacy of... Oh. The animals are the guards. Like, they didn't need the guards, they just hired them, paid them a good wage. Are there just 2 bears? I mean, I guess if you didn't really have, like, a weapon or something, and I forget if this... Yeah, the teleport stab doesn't work on bears and animals. Alright, so there goes one. Like, how did they put them in cages, and the bears just kind of showed up on their own? I mean, bears seem to be constantly nearby, everywhere I go in this DLC. So, maybe there's just a really, really bad, outbreak of bears in this area. Alright, I'm gonna unlock the other people first. That way it doesn't progress, with the story without me.
Thank you, Mistios. I have been at the mercy of those beasts. Did Nataka send you?
You must be his contact.
My son was spying on an order member. It was his first job, but he got captured. I shouldn't have agreed to let him be involved.
He screwed up on his... It's not your fault. Your son's fault. It was your son's fault for getting caught.
It wasn't your fault. Your son made a choice, and you
Oh,
respected it.
I didn't expect her to actually say what I said, but hey.
Where did this madman take your son?
His soldiers took him downstream. They're going to finish him off, Mistios. Please, save him.
Okay, but first, I'm right on your son's tail. Where should we look for him?
Down this stream, Mistios. He was dragged away by guards.
Okay, that's good. I'm running right away. But who is this madman?
I've heard things about him. The calls of beasts herald his approach.
The huntsman. Also, that was a very well-timed howl.
Mistios, please, bring my boy back to me.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
You're injured. Stay here while I find your son.
Please hurry, Mistios. They could be flaying him right now.
I need to find her boy.
Are they the flaying type?
She's talking about didn't get his hands on him. happened here?
Yeah. It's a lot of impaled bodies.
These people were exposed to the elements and tortured in these cages.
Oh, yeah. They were exposed to all the elements. Hydrogen, helium, xenon.
What kind of monster would do this?
Like, she's already fought, like, a minotaur. Is this really that far out of... Although I guess these people are really, really badly tortured.
These tools were used on the victims. Wolves aren't to blame for this carnage.
How do you know wolves didn't use those tools? Also, there are no wolves in this area, just bears, so...
This door is locked, but the blood trail leads further into the swamp.
Let me go. Somebody go.
There he is. It's okay. Your mother sent me. Calm down, boy.
No, don't kill me. Stay away from me.
Come back.
Ah,
Your mother sent me. Malaka. Boy, come back.
I never learned your name, small child.
What happened here? Boy, get back here. What is this?
Don't come any closer.
Don't worry. You are safe now.
Come over here. He's dangerous.
You killed them. You killed all of them.
You are a smart one, young man. You'll know no more pain here. Run along now.
How long has that kid been
So this
spying
is
on,
Darius's dog,
on this guy?
the one looking for the huntsman.
Tell me where he is before I slice your throat.
Or after?
Always violence with you, isn't it? Just like your master. Tell me, Eagle Bearer, do you truly trust Darius?
You're the man who, is surrounded by dead bodies.
I haven't trusted anyone in a long time.
Except maybe Barnabas.
Careful who you're running with, Eagle Bearer. Do you even know his name? His true name? You think you know Darius? Xerxes thought he knew Darius.
Whatever you're up to, you won't succeed.
But I already have. You are here, aren't you? What do you think of my display?
It's the work of sick and twisted minds.
You are right. Don't you remember these faces? You killed these men. They had friends, lovers, families. Did their loved ones really deserve to die? Do they not deserve their revenge?
Okay, I'll have to go with a... This is an interesting... This is...
If I hadn't killed them, they would have killed me. Don't make me do the same to you.
I will.
Killing is the only alternative you can think of.
Don't move any closer. It wasn't personal. They were just in the way.
Selfish! My son didn't deserve to die.
Your son chose poorly.
I had to. They fought for the wrong side.
But I killed people on both sides, so...
You always have a choice.
Not really. So is the choice not to do anything?
Force my hand. I won't kill you.
Well, well. It seems like the Eagle Bearer has a conscience. Marvelous performance. Very convincing.
You tricked me?
Theatrics, yes, but also truth. You killed those people. You ruined lives. And you'll never stop. So we'll never stop hunting you. Not until your kind are gone and the world is safe. Till we meet again.
Huh.
Eagle bearer.
So he collected corpses of people I killed, but I'm pretty sure I didn't kill that many civilians. So he must have redressed them? So, like, I guess that essentially makes this, this scene kind of, similar to, like, the battle against the Fear in Metal Gear Solid 3. Are some of these civilians getting in on the action? Like, this is getting kind of confusing. Like, yeah, this, one of his soldiers just stabbed a civilian. That's the thing. Like, with the Fear, there's no immediate rejustification. Like, there's no point where you're like, well, I'm now justified for doing what it was I did. Like, these guys are literally stabbing the civilians they brought with. And, like, yep, he's trying to defend himself, but he's dead. So, yeah, that was a strong argument, but it kind of... Interesting.
What is this?
A scarecrow.
The huntsman awaits you in the forest. In the forest? Malaka!
Yeah, forests suck.
We may have been tricked, but I still don't forgive you.
I don't care about your forgiveness. Your son chose his own path. If I knew which one it was, I would be able to tell you why I killed him. I don't know what's worse. To consider yourself a monster and realize you still have to do the work you do, or to not consider yourself a monster and to carry on doing the work you do. Because, I mean, like, I guess the difference is between, like, the example of considering yourself a monster
He might know what to make of them.
and continuing to do what you do, that brings you essentially closer to, the character of... I forget if he actually is named. The soldier in Firefly and Serenity, who considers himself a necessary evil in order to make the world a better place. But that essentially is what the madman just stated, that he considers himself necessary for the world, but he doesn't consider himself an evil. So does he is he the person that's going to be like saying that he is not the monster? That he's going to carry on his actions? I mean, either way, it kind of really... Does that really affect anything other than the person's... worldview? If neither choice will change that person's mind.
What did you find?
I found clues, but no solutions.
1, the huntsman is supposed to be waiting in the forest. 2, he's surrounded by animals. And 3, he's by a lake.
I know only one place that fits both of those descriptions. It's the ancient Greek petting zoo in North Macedonia. It costs 100 drachmae per ticket.
Father should be there to see him die. I'll find him and join you in the glade.
All right.
The huntsman is in this glade. I won't be able to wait for you and Darius.
I'll be there.
I wonder what the Order has planned for me this time. Hopefully, fewer death trees.
That, one death tree already sounds like too many death trees in one life. Like, if you've seen one...
To know something about Darius. I'll get it out of him.
Ah, so she's hoping to confront Darius, earlier, without the... sorry, confront the huntsman earlier without Darius and Itaka, in hopes to get a little bit of info as to who Darius actually is. Who does he work for? The huntsman cannot hear you. These villagers who you're riding directly into cannot hear you. Clearly, because they did not jump away in time. Your threats are idle and meaningless.
Darius better get to the huntsman's glade in time. I can't wait for them.
Although, nice fight in the rain. You know it's an epic battle when it's in the middle of a storm.
She arrives.
The huntsman.
And now the hunt begins.
All to help you understand the truth, Cassandra. You are no hero.
Actually, I've said I was a hero all the time. This is known, Khaleesi.
I'm more than a hero, huntsman. I'm the one who breaks you.
You are tainted. The blood flowing through you has the power to raise kingdoms, to alter the course of entire civilizations. Burn this world. We must burn you first.
What are tainted ones?
You are a tainted one.
Oh, do they recognize the like the Isu blood in her?
You are less than human. You are a very
Like they realize that she's not necessarily just human?
dangerous to be. I specialize in hunting tainted ones to keep the world safe.
You know nothing about me.
I know more about you than you know about yourself. I've carved through many of you, Eagle Bearer. I can carve.
Okay. I have one complaint in regards to this scene. I think it would have been much more dramatic if the camera was moving instead of just static images of trees and leaves. Either the camera would be circling around Cassandra, facing her, or the camera would be behind her as she's spinning around slowly looking through the forest, and the forest appears blurry and only Cassandra is in focus. That would have been much more
You
interesting,
can't know what I'll do or who I'll become. I decide my fate.
rather than just having static
And I've decided I'm
camera
appointed
angles.
to you.
But I wonder if, like, if they had less or equal amounts of time for developing the cinematics in the DLC as they did for the main game. Oh, hello. And you have a shield. Now you don't. You also don't have a shield anymore. Are they really charging me for murder all the way out here? Actually, hold on. Let's see if I can disappear. There are no bushes in this area. There literally are no bushes in this area. Huh. So they clearly didn't... Ah, damn it. Oh! This, so there's actually a barrier to this fight. Okay. Well, I bought enough time for this ability to recharge. So unfortunately, I guess I'm going to have to get some notoriety. But I suppose I can deal with that pretty easily.
I hope you're ready to die. Now I'll take your life too.
Was one of them the huntsman? Were none of them the huntsman?
Your gift to them. Death.
I hope they enjoy my gift.
Look at them. Do you remember the screams?
I just killed them, so yes.
All the misery you've caused?
No.
You love your beasts so much. Stop sending them to die.
You disrupt the natural order. And thus, you are unnatural.
That is a very strange
My pleasure to
leap in logic.
to do nature's will, to return to the dead. Let's
You can try. Oh, hello. Interesting.
how you believe.
Oh, do I have to deal with a bounty hunter while doing this?
I'll lead you until there is no blood to spill. You think you can trust Darius?
Do I have to fight Temenos the Clean while I'm doing this? Because, again, I've mentioned that I don't really think the notoriety system works that well. And the fact that I have to do this fight in the middle of what should be just a single boss fight. Is just an example of the notoriety system breaking on itself. So where did... the huntsman go? Icaros not available. Huh. That's... that's a problem. So the huntsman went somewhere while I wasn't paying attention to him. At the very least, there's a boundary, so... So there's a limit to in regards to how far I actually have to look for him. But unfortunately, that mercenary that showed up did kind of distract me from the fight. And I don't have... for some reason, I don't have Icaros to find the huntsman for me. He's not showing up when I'm just pinging the... So he's got to be somewhere in the middle, maybe? Huh. World map is not available. Is he on top of a tree? Do I have to start digging into the earth? Do I need to reload a checkpoint?
Behold your gift to them.
Okay, so after reloading a few saves, I am
Does it then
If you love your
blah blah blah. I'm back here.
disrupt?
Hopefully.
Let's see how far they can be pushed.
Okay, so this time I'm going to try to ignore the bounty hunter, as inevitable as they might be.
Look how you believe. Oh, part of you believe this one. Not your skin, not your bones.
Okay, so clearly something bugged out because now I can call
Will
Icarus.
have better luck finding the huntsman.
Because previously I was still stuck in my little circle. I couldn't actually leave it. Do I have to deal with you now?
I'll find you, huntsman!
Wouldn't the world be safer without you?
You burned whole villages. Poisoned them.
The Order kills hundreds to stop your kind from killing thousands.
Crack in the wall. Looks like the huntsman might have slipped through here.
Alright. Back into it, despite the game just kind of totally crashing right there.
Stinks down here. Animals.
It's got the stink of animals all over this.
Come, Cassandra. I will carve up your heart for Morgus.
Okay, that is, oh, hello.
I'd rather die than let you bring more suffering to this world. It ends now, monster.
Alright.
Of chaos, Cassandra. Everything you touch dies screaming. How lonely you must be. The Order
So if everything I touch dies screaming, is that the future you envision for yourself? Damn you. She's got this auto-aim going on. But I don't actually have to kill both wolves.
is that what you think?
There's always some leader above him. Is that Darius? And Natakas.
No. No.
Nice entrance.
Took the easy way.
Artabanus, the betrayer himself.
So you are Artabanus.
Actius.
After
Who
all you've
is
done in this valley,
Artabanus?
How does it feel to have them watch you die?
Is that how Artabanus tells it? No. He started this.
What is he talking about?
We trusted him. I loved him. We were all
Or although did he start the order much like how
against us.
what's her face started the cult? It's been so Aspasias. There we go. How Aspasias was a member of the cult but realized the cult had kind of turned on itself, so she turned on it.
Killed him himself.
Darius, you have some explaining to do.
Cassandra,
You're hiding something. Speak.
Yes, Darius. Tell them about our promise.
To protect Persia. Our children. Their future.
Then why did you betray us?
Also, why did this guy buy such a terrible helmet?
To keep
'Cause-
that promise. It's time I told you the truth about Artabanus, protector of Persia.
Can we do it in a much more comfortable location that's not swarming with flies, and doesn't have a dead body nearby, and doesn't have an active wolf prowling, or a mercenary hunting?
We'll feign a frontal assault on the convoy, drawing away the majority of Xerxes' forces, giving you the chance to... Xerxes won't know what hit him.
Tomorrow, the Order's tyrant dies, and Persia will be safe.
There will always be more tyrants.
This is a really casual approach to murdering a leader. Like, they're basically just like one bro fist away from being just assassin frat buddies.
King Xerxes had died, but his son continued his legacy.
So then I killed his son.
The new king needs to die, Amorges.
We can't just stab all our problems.
Artaxerxes is king now. His father and his father before him were Order puppets. With the Order, we can take no chances.
What if the Order aren't our enemy? They're powerful. Maybe if we work with them, we'll have all the resources we need to protect Persia.
Artaxerxes dies, as does anyone in league with the Order.
Okay, so he didn't invent the Order, but he killed a bunch of them, and then joined them later? And then killed a bunch of them again? This is kind of confusing. That is one dumb-looking helmet. Although, honestly, I'm not a very big fan of hats in general, so... Although that might be kind of dumb. Where did that other guard go?
As I suspected.
I can't let you in there, Artabanus.
They got to you.
No. I went to them.
Also, who's this guy he's punching? Like, it would be nice if I was actually introduced to any of these characters.
This king hasn't done anything.
Yet.
Guards!
Traitor! Amorges joined the Order of the Ancients. From that day, he's led the Huntsmen to destroy us and the Tainted Ones. He was my closest friend. Through war. Your birth. When he called the guards, he doomed our family.
the moment you drew your blade against the Order, you doomed us.
Wait,
Did you
so
ever stop
how
thinking
is
once your blade has
Darius
been
supposed to be the bad guy in this case? Like, he killed
Me?
Xerxes, and then he stood up against the Order.
I think of nothing else.
And Yeah, how is he supposed to be looked upon by his son as the bad guy? Like, what kind of revelation am I actually getting here?
Pactias's death will be a beacon to the Order. Amorgus and his full might will rain down on
Okay. Basically, we're being introduced to other villains in the Order.
I'll pack the hideout.
That way, we essentially know, okay, this is going to lead on to Legacy of the First Blade, Episode 2, the new targets. But hey, at the very least, I managed to... Oh, hello! Interesting that he stood outside the boss fight waiting for me. Very kind of him. And Temenos the Clean is dead again. Alright, what does Darius have to say on this bright new day? Where shaved-head children
Sometimes I think about a simpler life.
play in the distance.
Small stall in the Agora, fish. Teaching my son how to catch them. Do you ever wonder about the simpler life?
I think it might be too late for Cassandra to have a simple life.
I fight for the greater good, for the ones I love. But it's always the ones we love we hurt.
Although, actually, maybe it's not too late. She could always have a simple life for a short while, and then she's got to strap that staff to her back.
Attack us. Bring your coat. You'll need warmth for the road ahead.
And 1 or 2 books. You will need the reading material.
Do you think we'll see each other again?
God willing, we'll all meet again in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Legacy of the First Blade, Part 2, The Search for More Money.
How can you be so
Actually, they've already gotten my money, so they really wouldn't be searching for more. That is one awkward close-up.
Diaz is dead, but the Order lives on. And with Amorgus at their head, none of us are safe. He'll bring his full might against us. Warriors, wit, cunning. He'll never stop hunting you. Or us.
So basically, I showed up. I wanted to help somebody move, which I still haven't done.
Let him
And now I've made another enemy.
You'll find only death.
And now let us all look off into the distance. Pose. We've earned this victory pose.
Tis.
Okay. So it looks like that is the entrance to the next part of the quest. To episode 2, I would imagine. I've got to say, episode 1, not exactly, like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily earth-shattering, although I don't know, it's part 1 of 3, so I would imagine by the end of the 3rd episode, that's when, like, it's gonna get really big. But all in all, it kind of just creates, like, spins off a new cult that's just smaller in scope. Like, it would have been nice if they didn't just, I know they want to create multiple targets for Cassandra to hunt, but it just kind of feels like it's rehashing the main objective by just giving you a new cult to hunt down. Just relabeled the Order. Whereas, like, the Cult of Cosmos had a little bit more interesting goal because it was also tied to, like, the stranger events, like Atlantis and whatnot. This Order isn't quite as interesting. I guess it's part of the Persian Empire. But it does feel like a little bit of a rehashing of ideas. That said, I wonder if the villain that it introduces as part of the backstory for Darius, if that's essentially going to be, if he's going to be more fleshed out and become a bit more interesting. Because, like, the huntsman, who apparently was also the madman, had that kind of interesting scenario in which he's, like, showing you, confronting you with your misdeeds. Which was pretty nifty scenario for the DLC to have going on in it, but there were a few parts that kind of just fell apart, and I want to say, like, the way that Assassin's Creed Odyssey presents itself, the way that the game works, didn't really fit that scenario so well, especially when the guards just started killing the civilians. So it's like, and the civilians, like, still like, I'm still mad at you because my son died. And then it's like, these guards who brought you here killed almost all of you. Like, your point, their point kind of fell apart once they started murdering the civilians. So, or like how the mercenary just kind of showed up in the middle of this, like, climactic battle. So it seems like the mechanics of the game are, like, over every so often they clash with the point it's trying to make. But we'll see where this goes. I realize that I did get the DLC not necessarily for this piece of content, but rather for the fate of Atlantis, because that does, I believe, extend the present-day storyline. But I figure, might as well get my money's worth, see where this goes.
Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, recommendations for something to play next? Comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. So long for now.